Hey y'all, it's Snoop Dogg, and you're listening to the Stories, Sports, and Sarcasm podcast.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for.
Jesus, God, Keith, can we start this?
Will you pipe down?
Welcome, one and all, to the Story, Sports, and
Yes.
Sarcasm podcast, starring Keith and his microphone, Jim and his wall of liquor, only Bert's.
Triple S Pod.
Son of a bitch.
Rolling.
Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Did anybody hit record?
You did.
Did.
God damn it. I can't get this thing the way I want it. I had to move it this week, and then Grayson down here fucking with shit. I can't get it. There we go. That's a little bit better.
We see the whole microphone now, the arm, everything.
It's always Grayson's fault. It's always Audrey's fault. It's always...
It's Grayson's fault because he dicked with my stuff, but I had to take the microphone down.
What is on the end of your straw there?
One of those little rubber.
It looks like you went to a bachelorette party, and it looks like a wiener that was on the end of your straw.
Why do you need that on your straw? You're a grown man.
Well, because I don't like my tender lips directly on the metal. Got to save something for the second date.
Are you fucking ready yet, Keith?
I'm ready.
God, this is worse than
Podcast
doing
is
this with a
copyrighted
woman.
for the private use of our audience. This recording may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or any other use, pictures, accounts, or descriptions without the express written consent of Triple S Media. We would like to thank all of our listeners for your support, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. Welcome, one and all, to the Stories, Sports, and Sarcasm podcast. I'm Keith, along with my friends, Bert and Jim. What's going on?
Triple S Pod coming at you.
Oh,
Golly. The listeners aren't going to have the privilege of the 45 minutes for Keith to jack around with his microphone.
No, there's a
You're
good
late.
chance when I send the raw feed to Bert, every bit of this will be posted because I don't think he took anything out of the last show. He's like, I'll do the editing. He was done 20 minutes later.
I know it took me like 4 hours to edit. I pulled I pulled some of the funny clips, and then I
thought it was pretty. It flowed pretty smooth last week.
Yeah, did you catch the very end of the last one?
I caught the very end of it. I couldn't figure out what the you were doing.
So at the very end, it's just
Left it
Jim
off and
going.
it cut off.
Yeah. Well, no, it didn't just cut off. We ended the show, and then at the very end, it's just Jim going, "Fuck you, Keith, motherfucker."
I still have more to say about that, by the way. I've thought about that every day this week. I am just getting more and more pissed off about you showing up with a Tom Brady jersey, acting like this is normal and you've been doing this your whole life as a Tom Brady fan.
You were mad about the fact that he was texting Nate right as the kick was squibbling around across the ground about the SEC record.
That too.
So
hold on. Let me go in here because I don't think it was that quick. I will tell you what time I sent that.
Well, first off, Keith, I'm waiting for the proof that you claim you have of you being a Tom Brady fan. You were going to screenshot and send pictures and all this proof, and I've got nothing this week.
Yeah, the nudes of Giselle count. That doesn't work.
Right.
We've all got nudes of Giselle and Tom. Just Giselle.
Yeah, I guess it was. It was 12:04 a.m.
Unbelievable.
All right, so let's get into this. What are we drinking tonight, gentlemen? I'm still on dry January till February 5th. So dry January and a dribble. Are you staying solid, Keith? Have you made it?
I have. Like I said, when I said previously, I come down here and I smell my bourbon. That kind of holds me over. But I'm on water still, unfortunately.
Water with a tip on your straw. Looks like. Remember when you were?
Aaron just asked, "Do I need to download Zoom?"
Yes.
Just ignore him. He can come on if he wants. I am drinking Cooper's Craft tonight. It's a
I've
bottle
not
of
tried Cooper's Craft. I've
me
heard
neither.
mixed reviews about it.
It's okay. It's a bottle I got for as a Christmas gift, and it's okay. It's 100 proof, so it's pretty stout, but not a ton of flavor to it.
No? Um,
Picked up a bottle of Elijah Craig small batch today just to give it a shot. I didn't open it yet though.
yeah. I went through a bottle of that last year at New Year. But that was before I was really into it all that much. So I need to get another bottle of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so dry January came down here, and tested it out. Or I tested it out. What am I talking about? I'm reading Aaron's message in our group chat.
Well, that's your fault.
I know. I come down here and I take the lids off and just smell them.
Keith,
It kind of holds me over.
let me interrupt you because it seems like Aaron's going to jump in here. Do not act like a fool to him like you do during the messages. Just let him come on. He's been a Bengals fan his whole life. Just let him live, will you?
Let him live.
I mean,
So
Aaron,
when we get Aaron on here, we'll talk NFL playoffs.
yeah. I mean, he's a good guy. He's got a big heart.
He is a good guy.
Coached baseball with him when the boys were
That's
12
how I
years
met
old.
him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was that championship year where I did the pitch counting for you guys.
Right. Yeah.
I was the key.
Right. It's coming in.
Oh, there
Look
it
at the
is.
name. Look at
If you're not going to do the video, you might as well just stay home. Come on now. Oh, his connection's slower than yours, Jim.
slower than mine. Mine's fast. I got 300 meg spectrum. Zipping around. So Keith, again, I'm going to put you on the spot. Where is this proof of this Tom Brady?
I haven't gone through it. I've forgotten and I will dig through it.
He's gonna go next week and get on eBay and buy like Tom Brady autograph pubes if you keep pushing him.
No, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start ordering jerseys from all different teams.
The fact that you don't have it readily available, the proof that you just said I got to dig around to find it. I mean, that speaks for itself. Come on.
I thought it was very widely accepted that I'm not a Patriots fan. I'm not a Buccaneers fan. I'm solely a Packers fan, but I do enjoy great players. I'm a fan of the quarterback position. So Joe Montana.
He secretly wants to be a center.
Whoever else has won Super Bowls is who you're a fan of.
No, and not necessarily Super Bowls.
He's yeah.
You forgot national titles.
Right.
Yeah.
God damn you.
AJ McCarron fan.
Well, AJ McCarron was a Alabama player, so yeah.
Right. Because you have to continue to be a fan of them when they're in college.
Well, no, but he's not a great NFL quarterback, but he was great for Alabama.
Yeah.
So are we going to get into the NFL playoffs? Because I have a bone to pick.
Yes. So last week on the show, Jim happened to mention that he thought that the Cowboys were going to beat the 49ers, but they didn't.
Yep.
Well, it was a bet. I took the odds. It wasn't that I had a lot of faith. It was good odds.
Yeah. Last week on the show, I had said something about the 49ers, and you said you didn't think they'd beat the Cowboys. But, I mean, it is what it is. So I think I saw a meme this week that Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy are playing for the NFC Championship, and they're both younger than Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, I think, is younger than Stetson Bennett. He's been in the league like 8 years.
That's Tom Brady's older brother.
Oh, yeah, that's what we were talking about is whether Brock Purdy would be the starter for the 49ers next year.
Now, is Stetson a senior this year? Is he going to go into the draft?
He's a senior citizen, that's for sure.
Yeah. Every time he throws, Brett goes out to the football stadium and throws the ball around.
he can't stay at Georgia. I don't think he has any eligibility left.
He's like Uncle Rico.
Surprised he didn't fake an injury in that championship game to try to get a medical
Get a medical red shirt.
right for next year. They were up 100 points in the first quarter.
He only needs 2 more seasons before he gets a life alert. Just I've fallen and I can't. Here, so Jim, are you coming over to my side of this, where these players are spending way too much time in college without getting a medical degree, right? They're not PhDs. They're playing football for 7 years because of an injury, right? 5 years seems fair. 6 years, okay, I get it, but 7, 8.
What is the difference between them being in college playing football or them being in college in medical school for 8 years? They're in college.
Right, but there's a difference between a 19-year-old freshman, a 21-year-old junior or senior, and a 30-year-old Stetson Bennett, right? Or Benson.
What is going on with your internet?
Jeans. Am I going in and out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Aaron just said Chris Wanky. That's true. How old was Wanky when he graduated?
29?
I think he graduated the same year that his kid did from high school, I think.
Him and his kid were on the same team at Florida State.
Right. Yeah.
I've heard a couple rumors that LeBron has talked about playing college football after his NBA career, like trying to play a season at tight end or something like that.
Will we be done with LeBron, please? Oh, Bert, you keep locking up, Bert. I don't know what you got going on.
All right, let me reconnect. I'll be right back.
And he talks about my internet connection.
CompuServe.
Jeez, CompuServe, yeah. Aaron, you work for Spectrum. See if you can dig into Bert's internet issues if you got time.
I don't know why he came on the show to just listen to us.
It's all right. You can come in.
We'll upload.
Not everybody wants to be on here, Keith. Not everybody wants to be on here.
I don't.
What?
I should.
Here we go, Bert. Stand up.
What?
It froze.
Stand up.
Stand up when it freezes.
He disappeared into his background. Why would you put a white background up and wear a white? What is that you're wearing? Are you wearing a bathrobe?
It's a cardigan. I'm wearing a cardigan.
You know what, Bert? You are the equivalent of Keith being a front runner since you bought a Jaguar. You're now wearing cardigans.
Well,
sweater vest.
The problem is that I have a work branded shirt under this I wore all day, and I had to put something over top of it because I did not want my work logo in our video.
Why did you not change your shirt? Why did you get the most pretentious sweater in your house?
Change your shirt instead of wearing your wife's bathrobe onto the show.
This was a Christmas gift for my wife. Okay, it's not a bathrobe; it's a sweater. Yachting later at Buckeye Lake. I have my sweater ready to go. Just pull up in the Jaguar, get on the boat, and there I go.
If you got that car anywhere near a lake, $10 says you'd bury it like Michael Scott did when the directions told him to go straight.
It doesn't even have GPS.
Can't understand.
Well, I'm trying to put that in this week.
You're going in and out. And
I
you're
can't understand you at all, Bert. Who hired you to work on the network as an engineer?
Well, hold on now. I'm like considered top of my field.
Jesus
If
Christ.
this is the top of the field for the company you work for, where do I apply?
Not company I work for, but I've written thousands of pages of documentation on what I do. I'm published all around the world.
On pen and paper, clearly not on any type of network or.
Let me switch cameras. Maybe that'll help too.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I'm sure that's the camera. Yeah. Sure, that's the problem.
Oh,
There we go.
Yeah, that's
yeah, that was it.
why. It looks like you're a midget now. Put your camera down or something.
First, like, let me change the camera.
Is that
Fine,
better,
I've-
guys? Can you see me now? My connection better?
This is worse than our first episode. This was
You're like Max Headroom. This is worse than our first episode. It's not the microphone. Bert. All right. Well, who need to have a lot of topics to talk about tonight? We just needed the Lancaster internet connection.
yeah, we just got internet down here.
All right. So
This week.
we got Aaron on here. He's on cell, so he don't want to jump in on video or audio, but he's typing messages in. So let's get into NFL a little bit.
Yeah.
So, Eagles, 49ers. Who's your pick?
McCafferty's a little banged up. I think you got to go Eagles. They've got a good season. Hurts is healthy.
What are you laughing about the same thing as me, Keith?
Probably.
How many
Who's
teams
banged
were
up?
in that?
Who's banged up?
Christian McCafferty. Aaron says Eagles.
Aaron's going to Eagles. Bert, I'm not sure who McCafferty is, but
Ed McCafferty's son. There you go. McCafferty, whatever.
All right. So Aaron says Eagles. It's in Philly, right?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
It
I'm not
is.
It
It's
is.
got to. Yeah. I got to go with Eagles also. That defense is pretty nasty, especially playing in Philly with those fans and Brock Purdy. I mean, he's doing okay, but I don't see him winning them a game in the NFC Championship game if he's called upon to do that.
Right. I'd have to agree if it comes down to him needing to go toe to toe with Jalen Hurts, he probably loses. The defense is really going to have to step up, and I don't think the defense is that great.
I think they've got a good defense, but I think the problem is going to be the Niners scoring enough points.
Right. They only scored 18 or was it 18 or 19 against Dallas?
Yeah.
Dallas has a decent defense, and they have the ability to keep the offense off the field. They've got two decent running backs, although I hear this might be Zeke's last game in a Cowboys uniform, so we'll see. And Pollard's getting tightrope surgery on his ankle.
I think this is it for Zeke and Dallas. I don't see what else they're going to do with him, but he's under a big contract. I don't know what they're going to do about that. They just signed him 2 years ago.
I think his contract
Anybody
was
will
3
take that
years.
contract? You think anybody will take that contract on?
No.
He's not the
Can
same
you guys-
player he was a few years ago, is he?
Yeah,
No,
we
not
can
at
hear
all.
you there.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read a report saying he was willing to take a new deal or a reconstructed deal to stay in Dallas.
Really?
I don't know how accurate that is, but
Yeah.
So while you're on here, I know your pick for this game, but rematch of last year's AFC Championship, Kansas City and Cincinnati.
well, anybody that's confident is probably in denial a little bit. All those games have been 3-point games. I expect it to be a 3-point game. Of course, I want the Bengals to win, but I think it's a pick 'em. I mean, I'm going to pick the Bengals because that's my team, but you can't be too confident on it.
What do you know the spread on it?
It's flipped back and forth all week.
Has it?
Right now, it's the Chiefs by 1
Yeah, I don't think I'm even gonna put anything on that game. That's just asking to lose money, I think.
Yeah,
Holmes has a high ankle sprain as well, although he plays really well with an ankle sprain. So
He does, but if they get any type of pass rush, especially up the middle, like
Yeah.
right in his face, I think that's gonna be tough for him. With that, I mean that those ankle sprains. If you've ever rolled an ankle like that, that is brutal.
yeah,
I don't much have a dog in the fight here, obviously. It doesn't affect me at all who wins. So
Yes, it
being
does. You need to know whose jersey you're gonna order.
yeah.
around
Well,
both, um, I'm gonna order jerseys for all four of the quarterbacks. Um, I for the sake of the people that I spend time around and spend time talking to, I hope the Bengals get in there and I think if they get there and if they can get into the Super Bowl, I think they can beat both of the other teams.
The Eagles are tough, man.
I'm worried about the matchup of our secondary against the Eagles receivers.
I would be worried. Yes, I'd be worried about any matchup with the Eagles offense. I mean, any position group I think is going to be.
Yeah,
That's a
because
challenge.
they can't overpower because they've got to keep a spy on Jalen Hurts to keep him from taking off and just beating the hell out of him on with his feet.
so
Yeah.
we have to go back just a second because you said that you're a fan of all the quarterbacks, but Mahomes has one of the highest contracts in the NFL. Last week you said that you didn't like that, right? That was your whole beef with
I
Aaron.
don't like a quarterback that eats up all the cap space.
Right. Right. And that's Mahomes. What is he at? 50 million a year? Or
See
pretty
that?
close? 45 at least.
In his jersey.
And then you professed your love to Joe Burrow if he didn't take the huge. By the way, Aaron, if you didn't see it, let me show you what's on the end of Keith's straw real quick. Hold on. This is what's on the end of Keith's straw. So every time he takes a drink, that's what he's.
That's great.
The Eagles don't really have a very good running game, in my opinion.
I
I
mean,
running back. I know Jalen Hurts is a good runner.
Jalen Hurts, yes, but you know what? That's a good point. I don't even know who the Eagles running back is. Now you mentioned that.
Miles Sanders and what's the other?
Miles
one?
Sanders, yeah.
Oh yeah, Miles Sanders.
Or who's the other? There's another one that gets carries around the goal line. But
Miles Sanders, he's been on there a little while, hasn't he? Though actually, he's been on the Eagles a couple of years.
all those teams that we've played, if you think about it, Huntley with Ravens, Allen with the Bills, now Mahomes, and then if it's the Eagles with their running back or quarterback that is good on his feet, they're all somewhat similar in offense.
Kenneth Gainwell.
What's that?
Kenneth Gainwell is their top rusher.
You know, I heard something interesting on one of the shows on ESPN that made some sense, and I never even thought about it about the Bills. So they're, they play in Buffalo. It's cold in November, on chance of snow, this and that, but their offense is built like they're a warm weather or dome team. They don't have a great running game. Their running game is Josh Allen. They got Stephon Diggs. They pass down the field like they're not built for. The Bengals are better built for games like they had against Buffalo. Buffalo, the way they built their team is not great for the elements. That's not an excuse why the Bengals beat their ass. I'm just saying that was an interesting point that I heard.
Yeah. So the Eagles actually have Miles Sanders, who rushed for almost 1,300 yards at 4.9 yards a carry. So they have a decent running game. And Miles also had 11 touchdowns. So
he averaged 4.9 on the season.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right here.
Wow. I would not have guessed that either. When as soon as you said that, Aaron, I kind of thought, yeah, who is the running back for the Eagles?
Let's not forget the greatest team ever assembled, 1972
Uh,
Miami Dolphins.
Are you just trying to piss me off tonight? I got to hear these old guys talk about their undefeated season in what was it?
72.
1972.
1972, where there's less teams in NFL. They played less games,
I think they only played 12 games or something like that. No, 14 games.
14 regular season games.
They were
and
17-0.
the forward pass had only been around for 2 years.
Yeah.
If you look hard enough, you can see Wilt Chamberlain holding up the sign in that.
Larry Zonka, the man, Larry Zonka.
Yeah, Larry Zonka would get cut from every NFL team right now.
Yeah, because he's fucking 78 years
Yeah.
old.
Well, they had Jim Thorpe. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, that's the point I was making. Was 70-year-old Larry Zonka would get cut from every
He
NFL.
would probably get. I agree. He would probably get cut from those teams.
isn't what was it? Mercury Morris used to do all those commercials for hair regain, hair growth, and then he did jail time.
He was on that team.
Yeah.
Well, he was, yeah. Yeah, you just can't compare those teams from the 60s. They do the same thing in basketball. It was a whole different ball game.
Well, right. You talk about the Celtics teams that won 11 titles in a row or 11 out of 13 years.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys, after the season was over, they went back to being plumbers and carpenters, right? It just wasn't the same. And to think that the 72 Dolphins would even score a point in the modern NFL is crazy.
Yeah, it just pisses me off every time that the media does it too. Like, hey, the Dolphins are getting together to toast champagne. The last undefeated team lost.
Yeah.
Break.
They're down there living in the villages of Florida, scoring with all the
Retirement villages.
Yeah. I mean, what was it? The Patriots, they won 17 games or 18 games. They lost in the Super Bowl.
Lost to
18.
Eli Manning in the Super Bowl.
Right. And
How many of that team is even alive for the 72 Dolphins at this point?
probably not a whole lot, but by God, they sure all get together.
Larry Zonka is.
We got to hear about it every freaking year.
I'll bet you it's like 12.
28 members are still alive.
Oh,
Really?
And did they have 53-man rosters in?
I'm pretty sure they played both ways.
About half.
probably half of that. Yeah.
So does Bert.
Yeah.
There's Larry's. Okay. Yeah, no, they're 28 still alive.
Jeez. So we got who's your pick, Bert? We never heard your pick for the Niners, Eagles, or the
No, I believe the Eagles are going to win it. The Niners have to travel across the country to play the Eagles in Philly. I hate to say it, but I think Purdy finally has a bad game. I just don't see him beating the Eagles at home. Rooting for the Bengals. I think it's going to be, just like everybody said, it's going to be a close game. Mahomes is hurt. If they get to him, I think that the Bengals have a really good chance of beating them there at is it Arrowhead still, or what do they call it?
Burrowhead now is what they're calling it. From
Are they allow it Arrow?
Bert, you got to do something about your internet.
Maybe change cameras again.
I think the weather is going to play a big part. It's going to be, last year it was like 40 degrees. This year it's supposed to be a lot colder. I don't know. I think this is going to be a different game than what we've seen the last 3 times.
I think so. I think the Bengals are going to win. They seem to have their number for whatever reason.
Yeah, who else has beat Kansas City 3 games in a row?
You got me. I don't have any idea. Nobody in there.
Denver.
Denver. Yeah. Yeah. They're getting a little bit of
Go ahead.
yeah, they are getting a little bit of a rivalry going though. Of course, the Chiefs have to win one for it to be a rival. You can't get dominated and call it a rivalry.
So I heard we talked a little bit last week about the Bears having the first pick in the draft and what they should do, whether they should keep Fields and deal the pick or take the pick and get rid of Fields. I heard a very interesting play on what they thought the Bears should do, and that is they should trade Justin Fields to Baltimore for Lamar Jackson and then trade off the first pick. Because the Bears are willing to pay. Baltimore won't pay quarterback. The Bears are willing to pay a quarterback, send Fields to Baltimore, and then trade that first pick away and get a lot of people around, be able to get a lot of guys, a lot of picks, a lot of guys around to protect Lamar Jackson.
Does Lamar Jackson have a clause, no trade clause, or get to?
Isn't he still in his rookie year or his rookie deal?
No way he's going to Chicago if he has any say.
I don't think he has a say in it. If he hasn't signed, if he hasn't gotten out of that contract yet, he doesn't have a say in it. I don't think they can.
He's a free agent. I think he's a free agent at the end of this year, I believe.
They can tag him.
I don't think there's any way that would happen. I don't even know why the Ravens would be interested in that personally.
Because they get a similar quarterback to Lamar Jackson, not as good, but a similar quarterback, and they still get to deal with him in the rookie contract.
Yeah, but they have one right now. They got Huntley right now.
Right.
They got two of them actually. If you look, the two backups are similar.
Yeah, I don't see Baltimore being interested in that deal whatsoever. I still think the Bears are going to trade out of that pick.
I don't see why if you've got Justin Fields, the only decent reason not to trade out of it is if you're going to trade Fields. There's no way you should take that pick and keep Fields.
Yes, there is. Absolutely.
Who's their best wide receiver?
When I say trade that pick, I meant keep that pick. Use the pick and keep Fields. There's no good reason to do it.
Right. I agree.
They don't have many offensive weapons. They're not.
You can trade out of the pick and you can add picks and still get the offensive weapons. If you're not going to take whoever it is, Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, whoever ends up going first.
Will Anderson.
Well, I think you can take Will Anderson lower and pick up extra picks. Anybody that's trading up to one isn't trading up to one to get Will Anderson.
I don't think they're trading up to one to get Bryce Young either.
No.
So the Bears' number one target had 544 yards receiving this year.
Jeez. Who was it?
Cole Kemet, their tight end.
Their tight end was their leading receiver in yards.
He also had 7 touchdowns. Justin Fields was their leading rusher with just under 1,143 at a 7.1 yard average.
Good gosh. They need a lot of help. They got to trade that pick and try to get as many picks as they can get. You know, they need help.
Weapons or offensive line support, right? You need somebody to either throw to or somebody to block for you so you can throw to the mediocrity you have on the edge. The Bears are all kinds of messed up. I don't think Lamar Jackson fixes their problems. I think Lamar Jackson looks like Justin Fields if he goes to Chicago.
Maybe.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lamar, I think, and I said in our fantasy group, I think the Lamar Jackson novelty is kind of wore off. I mean, teams have figured out how to defend him. He's injured. This is the second year in a row he's been injured, and I don't know.
In all honesty, after the first injury this season, where he was out a little bit, I don't know if I had to come back if I were him, especially waiting on that big contract to come through.
That's why he didn't. Or or was he injured earlier in the year?
He was injured earlier in the year. There was a couple spots where he could have easily sat and nobody would have questioned his injuries. But
Questioning him at the end of the year when they went into the playoffs and he sat out against Cincinnati.
He's also in a division with the Bengals and Joe Burrow, the Browns, Deshaun Watson. We don't know what the Browns are yet. I mean, we don't. He played a couple
sex offenders. That's what the Browns are, sex offenders.
He played what, 5 games this year, Deshaun?
Yeah, 5. He had like 1 or 2 decent games out of those 5, but
And you know, the Steelers are the Steelers. They're going to be hard-nosed, competitive, and
This is the worst season the Steelers have had in a really long time, and it wasn't terrible, was it?
they still had a winning record.
they haven't had a losing record in 15 years. I saw a meme about that. It was like the next closest team that hasn't had a losing record was like in 2017 or so. It was something crazy, some crazy stat.
Yeah, because this year Packers had a losing record this year, but it's been a long time since before that. But I don't think it was 15 years.
No, I know. I mean, they had some turds there when Favre left.
All 4 of these teams playing in the conference championships have played in the Super Bowl within the last 5 years.
When did the Eagles was that 17?
Yeah, I believe so.
That was the Philly special right there. Yeah.
What is this, a 6th straight year Kansas City's been in the conference championship?
Yeah. Or
Like
fifth.
every year that Mahomes has been the starter there, they've been in the conference championship.
That's what I was talking about in the group chat. Does that, I mean, think about how many times Andy Reid got Philadelphia to the conference championship and how many Super Bowls he won there. And now think about, I mean, the same thing could happen or similar with the Chiefs.
It could, but he's got one.
Right.
Is he the coach
Wait.
of Philly when they won in 17?
No, Doug Peterson, I believe. So he did get the Eagles to 1 Super Bowl.
Did he get shit canned in Philly or did he quit?
I think it was a mutual.
Yeah, it was a mutual, just time to move on situation. But yeah, he's got one now though, so got that monkey off his back.
Yeah, well, he got to the Super Bowl with the Eagles and Terrell Owens and McNabb, but not McNabb. Yeah, and they lost. They were. It was a good game. Owens was playing pretty hurt. He'd got horse collar tackled earlier in the season, and still I think had like cracks in his collarbone from it.
Something going on with his leg, I thought, was the injury.
Bert remembers every obscure fact about everything, and then like he knows how many points a game that people off the bench in the 88-89 season for the Philadelphia 76ers scored.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, I was trying to think of who would be on that team. That was the Barkley team.
Was that in the 80s? Barkley was in the 80s.
Yeah, Barkley was the 80s. Yeah, so Barkley was drafted to the 76ers, I think in 85 out of Auburn. Let's see.
Oh, I didn't know it was that long ago.
Well, he was around like the whole time Jordan was around, but he only really became prominent when he went to the Phoenix.
No, he was an all-star, all NBA.
No, I guess I mean, and not so much prominent. I guess what I mean is he wasn't playing in title games until he was in Phoenix.
Right. He played in the finals with Phoenix and then moved over to Houston to try to ride Hakeem and Clyde Drexler's coattails, and that didn't really work out either. He was too far gone at that point.
I had completely forgotten until earlier this week that Drexler had played for the Rockets. I completely forgot he played for the Rockets.
Yeah.
85.
Most of his career was a Portland Trailblazer. Actually went and played at the University of Houston with Hakeem Olajuwon. They called it Vi Slamma Jamma. It was some pretty good, entertaining teams back at that time.
The glide.
Yeah. They considered him the second best two guard in the NBA behind Jordan at the time. He wasn't Jordan. Jordan was something different.
They were in the same draft, I believe, right? He was the second pick, and Jordan was the first.
second pick.
Jordan
Who?
was the third. Jordan was the third pick behind Sam Bowie and so yeah, he was drafted behind Hakeem Olajuwon and Sam Bowie. Is that what you're referring to? Is Hakeem or
Oh, Clyde Drexler.
Clyde Drexler? That may have been the same year.
Clyde was 83.
Oh, so
The year
that was before, because wasn't Jordan 84 or 85?
Jordan was 84. So yeah, Clyde was in the 83 draft. He was the 14th pick. Yeah, those Portland Trailblazer teams back in that time were no joke. They had Clyde Drexler and a bunch of second, third, and fourth round picks that were competing with the Lakers for conference titles at that time.
And they were pretty scrappy back then. Portland.
Yep.
They caused some trouble.
Yep. Duckworth was their center, and Jerome Kersey was the power forward, and Terry Porter was their point guard.
Terry Porter, yeah.
Yeah, he was a good coach too.
Terry Porter, I forgot all about him. Yeah.
So the Blue Jackets are currently
Oh my
by
God.
far the worst team in the NHL right now.
You think?
Yeah, they currently have played 48 games. They're 15, 30, and 3 with 33 points. The closest team to them is Montreal, 20, 25, and 3 with 43 points. They've given up 61 more goals than they've scored.
I've given up 61 more goals than I've scored. Good God, that's horrible.
So I guess what I think they're tanking.
They're not. They're not.
But
They're
tanking doesn't work the same in NHL as it
No,
does
'cause,
other sports.
no.
Don't you get it
have
next
the
year?
lottery No, you have the lottery system, but
You
if
increase
you're
your
the
odds.
worst, if you're the worst team in the league, the lowest you can pick is third, and everybody's
All right.
wanting Connor Bedard.
He is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
They're saying that there's the top 5 players are all show the potential to be size altering players. But
All right.
Bedard's the best one since Crosby.
I was just going to say Crosby. Yeah. Yeah.
Without looking, can you name the Seattle franchise in the NHL?
Kraken.
So Connor Bedard.
They've got it. Their jerseys are awesome. Their uniforms are awesome.
Connor Bedard scored 28 points in 15 games as a 15-year-old in the WHL.
He also scored 40 points in the WNBA the next night.
Right. What's that?
Alex Ovechkin. Do you think he catches Gretzky?
No.
No.
No, he's close.
In total goals?
Yeah, he's
I don't
not
think he's
far
that
off.
close.
He's at 8'11".
What's Gretzky? When he like 1100 or something?
894.
Oh, that was it. I thought he was over 1,000.
He was over. I think he was over 1,000, including his playoff goals.
Okay.
But regular season is 892 or 894.
894 regular season.
How many seasons was Gretzky versus
Gretzky played about 150 more games than Ovechkin.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Alex is, what is it? 75 behind him, 94 to 11, 83 behind him right now.
How old is he? He's been
something
around
like that. Yeah.
They actually,
30
I can't remember what team it was. I'm thinking it was the Coyotes or the Panthers, one or the other. The year before he got drafted, attempted to draft him 3 times, but he was too young, and they claimed that if it wasn't for leap years, he'd be old enough because he was like 3 days short of being eligible to be drafted. and they claim the technicality that if there wasn't leap years, he would have been old enough. They tried 3 times to draft.
Ovechkin's 38, by the way.
So you were talking about the Blue Jackets. I've been to a couple games this year. I don't see any tanking by the players. I mean, they've had some real turd games. The only scenario I can see of them tanking is if they're somehow paying Elvis to give up goals because
They're not playing
He
any defense in front of him.
terrible,
They're not
Dude.
playing any defense in front of him. It's hard to watch.
dude. The last game I went to, they played the Rangers a couple weeks or 2 weeks ago.
It wasn't long ago. I got a friend who's a Rangers fan.
Yeah.
was
Oh
super
yeah. Don't get me started about the freaking annoying ass Rangers fans at that game. There's like 2,000 Rangers games or fans at this damn game.
Boston fans are worse.
I
Pittsburgh,
don't know. Red Wings fans are pretty awful as well.
Yeah.
They are. But I mean, Elvis just gives I get that he gets peppered a little more than a lot of goalies right now. They've got a super young team, but some of the goals he gives up are just inexcusable.
I think Corpy is
Absolutely
supposed to play the
inexcusable.
next game.
What's that?
I think Corpy is supposed to play the next game.
God, it can't get any worse. It cannot get any worse than
Yeah, they're
Elvis.
playing tomorrow night. Corpusalo is supposed to start.
I mean, Elvis would stand on his head when he was first called up, and then he got that contract, and he's been a absolute terrible goalie ever since.
That kid that got killed, I think, was supposed to be damn good.
So was Elvis. I mean,
Yeah,
he
that
was,
is true. When they got rid of Bobrovsky, they were saying that Elvis was a young version of him, but he is absolutely not.
oh, he is not. You watch his body language. The first period, he when he skates onto the ice, it's like he doesn't want to be there. You can just see it in his body language. It's something else. I don't know what, but I will say the management, they went out and got Johnny Hockey. They went out and got Lene. They've got what's the center? Zach what's his name?
Wierenski?
Yes. He's another young, great center. Dude's from Columbus. Like they've got a nice core of young players. They need some defense. They need some goaltending.
And they need a better coach. Brad Larson is not the answer.
Maybe not, but I don't know.
They'd had a good coach. He just didn't want to be there anymore.
He and
I think that
that's
was a
his
mutual-
history. That's his history. Is he kind of like Urban Meyer. He gets tired of places. So he's in Philly now, and he's going to get tired of Philly. And it's just like everywhere else he's ever been. He grows tired of being there. And
Not just him, the ownership grows tired of his act. The players grow tired of his act.
if it was the players, if they were tired of him, ship their asses off and get somebody else in there, because he is a great coach.
I'm not saying he's not, but it's not easy. These the young players don't want to play how he coaches.
Who's that really good coach? I think that we had for a while and we canned, and he's turned into a phenomenal coach. Was it Gerard Gallant that we had he's a really good coach now?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Maybe.
he spent, I think, 2 years here as a coach. But he ended up coaching another team. I don't remember which one it was, like to the finals. Maybe it was Vegas. He coached Vegas to the finals.
Well, that was a totally different situation. That was what, the first expansion team in any sports history to make it all the way to the finals their first year. But they were allowed to pick basically an all-star team.
Revving up your engine, listen to a howling roar. Metal under tension, begging you to touch and go. Highway to the danger zone. We gotta take you right into the danger zone.
All right. What you got, Bert?
So, first of all, I want to update my 5 faces because I fucking edited last week and it sounds fine. Second, I do have a story. All right. So,
I pile on to your 5 faces. Keith jumped on my list last week and he's on there again this week.
all right. Well, yeah, we'll get to that. Sorry, I was a little premature in our 4 inches of
That's what
entertainment
you always.
tonight.
I've heard that's kind of your style, is to be premature.
That's right. That's why I only got 2 kids. So not to get political, right? We all have our politics, but politics aside, I actually met my son's teacher last night. One of my son's teacher, and she was actually working her second job, and I felt bad, right? Because teachers they're underpaid, they're underappreciated, yet they're so valuable to our society as a whole. So, I was feeling bad. So I gave her $50 for the lap dance instead of the $20 because I really wanted to do my part in, helping my child's education.
Right.
Was she in
So,
tears?
yeah, well, lap dance is always better when the stripper is crying.
Oh my gosh.
But
Well,
they're already dead inside anyway. It doesn't matter, Jim.
that teachers work really,
They
really
do.
hard. They are hardworking.
For the record, it's a joke.
I have a teacher story that is not a joke, and that is
You live with a teacher, so
Taking
there you
all
go.
I have to keep this to myself.
no. There is a purpose. Let it out, Jim. Let it out. Let the world hear it.
So
Tell us how important teachers are, how valuable teachers are.
they are so valuable that it's the only profession that I know that your job performance means nothing to how you are paid and how you get raises and how you move up through the ranks.
And what about their rigorous schedule?
Yeah, I mean, 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m., weekends off, all bank holidays off, summers off paid. It's a tough gig.
Sorta, right? So you can get your summers off paid, but you have to spread out your entire salary through the year.
Right, like everybody else.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's
By the way, my sister is a teacher. My daughter is an aide right now and in school to be a teacher. So they both know my opinions. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I like to bring up teaching every time we get together with our friends and Jim's sister. It's like, oh, I like to try and get Jim fired up about get a little booze in Jim and then get him fired up about teachers with his sister around.
And by the way,
So-
it's 2023 and kids just Google everything anymore anyway. So it's not like they're really learning a lot from teachers or just assigning homework and they're Googling the shit and working.
Yeah.
From there.
So we talked last week about single key, right?
single Keith. Yeah.
Talked about
Did
single.
we talk about single Keith last week?
I don't remember that.
I don't
but
think
okay.
we did.
Was that not last week? Maybe the week before.
Well, I mean, we allude to single Keith, anytime you're out, right? Even with Heather on your arm, there's single Keith always looking.
Single Keith just sits on one shoulder all the time.
Stare at her boobs, stare at her boobs.
So I, during single Keith days, went out with some friends. We went out and I saw this girl that was attractive, and I went and I poured the charm on, but I also threw a fake name at her, right? I like fake.
Oh shit.
You all right over there, Jim?
Yeah, you got me on the teacher
Scott
subject.
Sterling.
So yes, I fake named her, we ended up going out a couple of times.
Why did you fake name a complete stranger?
I don't know.
He wasn't single at the time.
Because I'm a fucking monster. No, I was single at the time.
It's not like you were giving out your address. Just
Right. I'd drop fake name on her.
Okay.
What
name did you use?
I don't remember.
Curious.
I had a couple of them, but I don't remember.
A couple in the
I would,
queue.
yeah, I would fake name people a lot when I met them out.
Why?
Is your name really Keith?
Right. Why would you fake name complete strangers at bar?
Well, because these are places that I frequent a lot. So if they come in asking for me and they have a fake name, the bartenders, the ones that knew I fake name people would pretend they didn't know who I was. And the ones that didn't know who that person was would say they didn't know who that person was.
All right. Anyway, sorry, I got you off.
So we end up hanging out a handful of times, 3 or 4 maybe. Fast forward, parent teacher conference.
You got a kid? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Parent teacher conference. It's little Keith's high school math teacher.
Oh. Did she call you by the fake name?
No. See, Keith and Keith's mom, which we've been divorced for a long time, walked into this parent teacher conference and both of us looked like we had seen a ghost because I had ghosted her and and so I fake named her, but my dumbass real phone numbered her. So I left the parent teacher conference and I didn't get to the next teacher and she was blowing my phone up, calling me all sorts of names.
Everything but a white guy. Everything but your fake name. Right?
Did she have a picture of a little bald-headed kid on her desk with an Alabama shirt on?
Here's your daddy.
Oh,
that's great. Keith, single Keith.
You guys miss that, don't you?
Single
no.
Keith, well, let's say single Keith and relationship Keith in his mid-30s were the same. So hours got a little weird.
Yeah, there were some shit went down.
Yeah. Random phone calls, text messages.
Same job though. I don't know.
No, there's a lot of jobs in there. I had a lot of different jobs. Have you ever noticed that when you're in your house and the power goes out, you completely forget the layout of your entire house?
No.
Yeah, my toes are like my car.
Yeah, hallways get longer. Like I get to the top of the stairs when the power's out and it goes from 10 feet to my door to like a third of a mile. I'm like walking down the hall, patting the walls.
You don't have flashlights?
Yes, I have flashlights. They're in my van and I'm not going to walk in the dark to my van. Things happen when you walk outside in the dark.
I broke my toe the last time the lights went out. I hit my toe in the vacuum.
Who left the damn vacuum out?
I was pissed. I had some curse words to say. I didn't tell my wife once though. I called her. I was like, "Hey, little toe, let's go." And she's like, "Little toe." I'm like, "Yeah, I want to take you and bang you on every piece of furniture in the house." Shit, the kids are right there. Hey, go upstairs.
The vacuum was out in the with electricity, no problem for a week. Everybody walking around. As soon as the light goes out, you smash your toe into it, start screaming at everybody who left the damn vacuum out.
It's like a rock in Keith's driveway. Yes, or outside of Keith's driveway. Yeah.
Yeah, you mean a rock in my driveway? You mean a rock in the middle of my front yard?
All right.
Yeah.
I was thinking about putting on a event to raise money. for diabetes. We're gonna raise money for diabetes. We're gonna do a cakewalk for diabetes.
Cakewalk. I like it.
All right, Michael Scott.
Is that a Michael Scott joke?
Yeah, the rabies awareness.
Oh yeah. Fun run for
run.
Let me look it up. I gotta look this up.
It was about 8 words long.
Too long, yeah.
the
Michael
Scott's
Scott's Dunder Mifflin Scranton Meredith Palmer Memorial Celebrity Rabies Awareness Pro-Am Fun Run Race for the Cure.
I've not hit anybody with my car though. That's the
Yeah. Well, it's double jeopardy. It was on company property with company property. So double jeopardy. I think we're good here.
I declare bankruptcy.
Oh, one of the
Say bankruptcy and be bankrupt. I didn't say it. I declared it.
declared it, right. There was one playing at work the other day on the TV, and it was the Goodbye Toby episode is a 2-part episode. And the end of it's the beginning of the second one, I think, is where he's having his exit interview.
Right.
And and then Holly walks in, and then they invite Pam into the meeting also. And he's got he starts it off. Well, it was before the 2 girls were in there.
No!
All the idiots in all the idiot villages.
Please, no! 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 No!
Yeah. And he has the rock that says suck it, a rubber band to it. And he starts blaming it on people.
and Dwight's like, no, you thought it would be hilarious, remember?
Yeah, I thought it was over the line, but you know what this is? This is a psych.
Ends up giving Toby his watch.
Yeah. Oh, great.
And then
So-
have you noticed that he's got a certificate of authenticity for a watch on his wall in his office?
It's for a certified Seiko watch spelled with a Y. Seiko's Seiko. Yeah.
Well, I think we've divulged into just repeating office quotes, so
Yeah. Devolved. Yeah.
I think we're out of material.
Out of material. Yeah. Bert didn't do a good job this week on the show sheet.
Or
Aaron,
You don't like the way I
got-
add it. You don't like the show sheet. And Aaron left. What the hell happened to Aaron? Did
he probably got done
Oh.
with it.
we started talking about hockey, and
he was afraid he might have to pick a draft a player. That's what it was. He just got out of here.
We're still waiting on his 13th round pick from our draft.
All right. Do we want to do 5 faces and call it a night, or what do we want to do? I would like to add Chris Collinsworth to my 5 faces.
wasn't he already on your 5 faces?
No, that was Turd Street.
Somebody
Third
had
Street's
somebody had
always-
Collingsworth, because we talked about him being creepy.
Alex, I
That was
believe.
Alex.
Okay,
Alex.
Alex.
Who
Gotcha.
are you taking off? One of those arbitrary NBA players?
Yeah, why not? They're all the same.
What do we got?
Here we go. Watch this play.
That was a heck of a play by Mahomes right there.
Did you hear that?
No.
Heck of a play by Mahomes
That
right
was
there.
a heck of a play by Mahomes right there.
Yeah. 30-yard sack. That's a heck of a play by Mahomes. These announcers just they drool right on the quarterbacks, and it's disgusting. I can't take it.
It's like Keith.
And it's New Jersey.
Right.
We need a segment. We need to call it Keith's New Jersey, right?
There we go. He's got a closet full of
I do.
Super Bowl winning QBs and national championship winning quarterbacks.
I can wear a
He's got his Bob Greasy jersey from 1972 undefeated Dolphins.
Need to break out your Florida Gators stuff that you keep hiding, or maybe you threw it all away when you got called out for being a
Yeah.
Gators fan.
Got
and
that
an
Aaron Hernandez jersey.
Alabama fan.
Oh no, he likes SEC football. Come on now.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Forgot about that.
So
You'll get a Vandy jersey if they ever win 10 games.
actually, I have a friend who played basketball for Vanderbilt.
You had a friend who played for Georgetown last week.
Yeah, come on.
Drew Maddox. Look him up.
Does he even know your real name?
Drew helped me. I met him when I was a kid.
Your mic a little closer.
He
Met him when
helped
I
you put light bulbs in, right?
No. He helped me when I was coaching. When I was coaching youth basketball, he helped me with building some plays, building a playbook.
There was some hippie chick you were seeing for just a short time.
Patchouli Julie.
Yes, that's him. Patchouli Julie.
Are you gonna add? Are you?
I don't have it.
Do you
No, I
want to
don't.
get into the story about that? Did you
Up
bring
to
that up
you.
for a reason?
No, that was one. I just remember there was some crazy story with. I don't even remember the whole story. I know there was
Bert's
something.
the one that came up with the nickname for it.
I never met. Did you meet her, Bert?
Yeah, I met her.
Oh,
It was at a dank bar, but yeah, I remember meeting her.
remember the patchouli oil smell?
Yeah, I smelled. Yeah,
So
I think that may have went down. My conversation went downhill pretty quickly because I had 1 or 2 beers already, and I may have just called her that to her face. Like I didn't even hold back at the time.
Yeah. And
Young
So-
Bert was an asshole.
we went out. I don't know. We went out 3 or 4 times. I don't even know. I don't know that I ever knew her last name.
Is her first name Julie, or was her
Her name
first
was Julie. Yeah. She was a little too tall for me.
Oh, well, once they hit puberty, they
Yeah.
shoot up.
Thank you for listening. Our next pod will drop next Tuesday, the 7th. For more content, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, and Twitter now that Bert's actually doing those. The links can be found in the podcast description.
What are we paying you for, Bert?
So
He's like,
our
I didn't realize that when I uploaded it to one thing, it didn't automatically upload it to all 7 things.
No, Facebook and Instagram are
I
tied
thought they were.
together.
Yeah, I thought those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but you
I
have
figured-
CompuServe also, Jim. So
Hey, who's had trouble with their internet tonight?
that's true.
Fine. All right.
Buying his wife's robe. See you guys.
Yeah.